What's up guys, welcome to Blake's Garage. Today we're working on the BMW E30, the Bird E30, and I got some more goodies to put on this thing. So we're gonna put on some more suspension stuff. Right now the car is sitting on CaTuned street coilovers, and I'll show you what I got here in a second. We're also on Coil R888Rs. Thing looks really good. It rides really well on the street. I cannot complain about that at all. It feels awesome. They're 32-way adjustables and they are really good. However, for autocross and for track and stuff like that, when I'm really doing some performance driving with these really grippy tires, even with the sway bars, I still get a little bit of lean. Now, if you guys are just running like regular street tires and non-R compound, I mean, these are 100 tread wear, freaking sticky compound tires, and I push the car hard. So I get a little bit of sway. I'll kind of insert a little picture here, a little still of where I really noticed it, but I wanted to basically up the spring rates on the front and rear. However, there's one thing better to do, and that is right about here. So these are the CaTuned Competition Spec coilovers. So these things are pretty sweet. These have a bigger spring on them. So we are running a 10K spring up in the front, as you can see right there. And the rear is actually a full coilover, so it actually does not run a spring. So this is pretty neat as well. Also, it is a reverse design, if you kind of notice that as well. And the adjustment for the dampening is right here. And on the back, you can see we're running a 12K spring right there. That's the 12, and that shows that we're doing a 12K spring. Then you have the top hat, just like all the rest. And on these, you're gonna notice that you don't have the adjustment up there. You actually have it flipped and it's in the bottom. So these are really awesome. This is a full coilover system, so that is super cool. That's just a bit of an upgrade. So we're gonna go ahead and throw on those rears. I'm not gonna show you guys the fronts because the front coilover installation, if you want to check that out, just check out this little eye up here in the corner, and that will take you to the other CaTuned coilover installs that I've done, because it's a little bit more involved doing front coilovers on an E30, because you have to cut the knuckles and weld the knuckles and all that stuff, and I've gone over all that in a really detailed manner so that you guys can make that happen. So also coming up soon, that front is going to be changing quite a bit. I got new control arms. I got the Magnus Team Racing bump steer adjustment, so this is going to go on. I also have these sweet freaking Heim joints for the tie rod. So these are hemispherical joints, so you're not going to have any play right here when you're going on to the power steering rack. Now also with this power steering rack, this is a Z3 rack. So this is 2.7 turns lock to lock of the wheel, whereas a E30 stock rack is 4 turns lock to lock. So this is going to be huge. Also, this changes the pickup point for the actual tie rod itself. So normally this would hook on right here, would be basically where the knuckle is. So that's going to give you a longer stroke. This actually shortens the stroke, increasing steering angle and also increasing the speed at which the wheel turns. So this is gonna make this thing super tight. It's just gonna be amazing. It's gonna point and shoot and be freaking sweet. So that'll be in the next video, all this stuff. So look forward to seeing that. So if you guys have not seen my car, it is pretty done up. Last video I showed you guys I made the rear door cards, and I just put on the little trim piece and that, so these turned out really good. I made these out of aluminum and those turned out amazing. Cage really stiffened up the rear of the car, and that just changes up the whole handling characteristics of a vehicle in itself. That really stiffens up the chassis. You know, also I got the Sparco Evo seat in there. When I had these streets, I just had a regular seat. So I mean, you could just go a lot harder with this sort of a setup. And you know, I've really pushed the car and, you know, kind of felt where it's at, and now I see what I need to do. So yeah, this is pretty sweet. Also picked this up from CaTuned, this little bad boy right here, because I've been running this cool little gaffer's tape delete for my antenna for quite some time. So let's upgrade this real fast. Gaffer's tape is awesome though. If you guys have never used it, it's pretty cool because it does not leave residue. Got this cool little CaTuned delete, And all I gotta do, push it right in there, nice and solid, and now we're all set with the actual antenna delete, so that looks a lot cleaner. So now on to the trunk. We're gonna go ahead and pop these bolts off so I can pop that. We can get those out and pull out the coils.
Well, hey there, so Birdie's getting some upgrades. That's pretty cool. I'm excited to ride in this thing again because it's been quite a minute since I've ridden in the Birdie 30, and I mean, it's named after me, so shoot. What you gonna do about that, huh?
These coilovers are gonna make it a lot easier to corner balance the car as well, since you just have, you know, basically just the collars right on the coil, just like you have on the front. Whereas doing the rear takes a little bit longer when you just have to adjust the spring perch. So I went ahead and removed the nuts and bolts from the top hat, boom, and I'm jacking up the car real quick. Need to upgrade the brakes eventually on this thing, faux show, because those are still stock, but you know, I think I'll do the manual swap first because everybody keeps talking about the manual swap, and I get it, I do want a manual, don't get me wrong. All right, so real fast, because these springs are much easier to get out. Bada bing, bada boom, springs are out. Stock springs are definitely a lot harder to get out. Now, on these coils, I'm actually not gonna be running a spring anymore, so this is gonna go bye-bye. This portion right here, which is currently the shock, is now actually gonna be the whole body. That's gonna have the spring and everything on it is gonna run from right there. Woo! Yeah, we got some torque on that one. Boom. So we got that coilover installed in there. Looks good. Now I'm just gonna be using this little plate. I'm gonna sandwich that plate in between, that way it reinforces the shock tower and makes it all stiff. Well guys, it's starting to get dark, but basically I just sandwiched that plate in between there and went ahead and installed the new competition coilover on the back here, which is really awesome. For the spring height, or for the perch height I should say, or how high I have it, it's set like that, so it's pretty low. I'm gonna try that out, and I may have to let some more of this collar out to raise the car up, but I'm gonna try that out first. Once I get the fronts in and the rears, I mean, it's gonna be whatever, but I'm gonna repeat this process on the other side. Very simple install. I would say actually the competition coilovers could even be a little bit easier to install because it's really just one piece. It's really cool. Kind of changes the whole setup of the rear end of the E30, and it, you know, relieves some weight off of right here. I think probably altogether this may be a little bit lighter of a design. Not totally sure on that. I didn't weigh it beforehand. Basically, it's all one working within unison, which is great, and it's got 12K springs back there, so it's gonna stay a lot more planted. Good stuff. So another thing you're gonna notice with the race coilover, or this competition coilover, that is fully, you know, under its own weight load, whereas a factory style setup with the coil and with the shock has a lot more droop out. So you can see it has just a ton more droop out. That can change things a bit. That's really gonna tighten up the rear. All right guys, so rear coilovers are on. Trunk is closed, as that's really important. Let's see how it sits. I'm hoping it sits good. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Oh yeah, nice and stiff. Yeah, I think the rake is still pretty good on the car as well. It still sits pretty low in the rear. It doesn't really have a ton of rake to it, so I like it. Looks good. This portion of the video may have been short, guys. If it was short, sorry about that, but you're gonna have a really long install for all the other goodies sitting in there coming up soon for the rack and all that fun stuff. So I'm excited to put that on. I'm gonna put that stuff on tomorrow morning, start filming, and it's gonna be a good time getting some nice parts on the Birdie 30. Well, it already had nice parts, but upgraded parts to make it even better. We'll talk to you guys soon. Later, wrench on.